This is Design Futurecast. I'm Lorena Lehman. In this 6th episode, the design experiment and result that we will investigate is called Airwalk. It is a painting and can be seen at designfuturecast.com/episode 6. So I've got my blank page and I've got lines happening. I like the way the geometric forms are coming together as I create the lines across the page that have all of these axial alignments, but trying to find the push and pull between the geometries, planes and volumes to get the painting to really start to pop. Makes me think how interesting it is to not know where a creative work is headed until you've actually finished it. And even then, when you look at the work later, it still tells you more about different insights. So I'm just working now to create a certain type of composition and harmonious balance in this work. So hopefully it will read correctly and it'll surprise me when I'm finished. We'll see where it heads. The painting Airwalk led to some very fascinating discoveries. You see, this painting is an exploration into concept design. And this is the question I am asked about most frequently by practicing architects and design students. They want to know what the best ways are for creating unique design concepts. And of course, for this painting, I got inspired to use not only geometric form, but also a yellow, black, blue, and bright red color palette, with which I strive to break through patterns of concept design. So you could say my intention was to unlock how concept design gets created. So this process, whether you're an architect, artist, writer, filmmaker, or game designer, becomes an epic journey from the blank page. How do you find that big idea, that grand gesture from which the rest of the design flows? My intention with this painting was to invent design direction, to create a conceptual grand gesture from which a project could be developed further. So I began with my typical design method and workflow, using my acrylic paints with Conte crayons on large 18 by 24 inch paper. I used my arm motion to sweep across the paper sheet. Long, arcing, and intersecting geometric lines were created. And from these lines, planes and volumes began to push and pull from the flatness of the paper, until the yellow, black, blue, and red colors created a liftoff for the forming design concept on that page. While looking at this painting, and as its name implies, Airwalk is about design juxtaposition, where geometric and even architectural form defies gravity, yet stays anchored within it. The color red threads the air and terrain together, but you cannot tell if this concept is landing or about to take off. So the resulting notion of defying gravity with design is an interesting one, and is one that I think this painting captures. It leads to the next question. What happens when a design is not tied to its context so directly and obviously? So in other words, what happens when a design or a creative work isn't tied to all realms of the real world? What if the fictional and visionary world of the creator is allowed to be explored? So you see, designs in motion, pop-up or temporary designs, and even the fleeting moments during which a creative work, like writing or video game design, are experienced, all point to a certain creative freedom by which to defy gravity. Now, you may be asking, What do I mean when I say that a design defies gravity? Well, by this, I'm talking about a work that expands beyond boundaries. With gravity, an architecture can rise using new smart materials like structural glass to create the perception of supporting the building. This would make it appear to float just above its site. Of course, video game designers can do this all the time, as their virtual worlds are not restricted by real-world physics. But gravity or physics is not the only boundary that a design concept can expand beyond. For example, writers can use language to guide readers on a journey that is counterintuitive and all the more exciting because of this. But again, how does an architect, a writer, a filmmaker, an artist, or a game designer go above and beyond to create concepts that break through common ground? I think a critical part to this answer lies in being curious, being open, and asking the right questions of a design problem. For this, exploration is key. So this leads to certain design conclusions and impact brought about by the creation of Airwalk, this painting. In other words, for your creative works, how often do you play in other mediums? How often do you really play in your native medium? And how often do you work without a preconceived idea of what your design result will look like in the end? It's okay and even great to not have your entire design creation all figured out before you even create it. And when you come up with a great but seemingly impossible idea, do not dismiss it right away simply because you think it's, well, impossible. Give this idea a chance to develop, to percolate, and to inform your design. This is how design and art can invent reality, how some aspects of science fiction become science fact, and how creativity leads to breakthroughs in thinking, inventing, living, working, playing, and even healing. In other words, you must explore and play with your curiosities, inspirations, and ideas to allow for those breakthrough moments to pierce through, showing you how your design can defy gravity. Now, for 21st century application, it's important to realize that we live in a world where both routine and invention work together. Without a process, much would be inefficient and wasteful, but it's important to balance play into the process. While play may seem inefficient or wasteful to some, I find it indispensable when used at the right time while creating. This type of creative play allows for many things, like getting used to your creative tools, whether they are a paintbrush, a computer, a camera, or anything else that stirs your curiosity. It also allows you to explore your questions about the design challenge you're solving for, and to really make sure that you're focusing on the right problem and design challenge in the first place. So as you create, allow for a playful, curiosity-driven freedom in the way you solve for your design challenge. This may mean switching tools, switching mediums, changing the environment where you create, or even simply being open to when your creations begin to lift off and defy gravity. For more inspiration and education on creativity, design, and architecture, visit designfuturecast.com/subscribe. There you can join the thousands of subscribers who regularly get my Design Insight Digest delivered straight to their email inbox. I think you will love the inspirational and educational articles, designs, and special invitations offered through this publication. Again, simply visit designfuturecast.com/subscribe to join the Design Insight Digest. I look forward to seeing you there.